for food. On the second part of this program, we're going to be receiving members of the Azire Credit Union who are going to be telling us what is in store for their clients, since they are going to be opening their new office in Boya tomorrow. They are going to be in the studio with us this evening to tell us about the nice packages they have for their clients. But I'm going to start with Dr. Nick Ngwanyam, who is an educationist. He is a social entrepreneur, also understanding that he runs a university that has a department of agriculture. That is why we thought that we should invite him this evening, explain to us the possible motivations behind this move of Macky Sall that is described by many Africans as controversial. We are glad to have you, Dr. Nick, share with us this evening.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to meet you here again on this studio and to say good evening and hello to our listeners. It's been over a month we've not been here. I was giving myself a media holiday. I had a bad voice and I had some issues too, so I thought I should just stay away from the media and get strong enough to bounce back. And I would not have come except, of course, that this topic that we are dealing with today is one of the most exciting topics, and behind these topics there's a lot that hides behind this topic. It's not a topic that can be handled by anybody, and you need to be able to dovetail between a lot of issues to be able to manage it.
You see the way I caption it: food threatens agricultural Africa on bended knees.
Correct.
Is that where we are today?
Yes. In fact, as I was coming to the studio, I was looking at my WhatsApp because this thing has been trending on WhatsApp, and one guy just described Africa as a big baby. Africa is a big baby on bended knees. And honestly, and when I read that, and the whole morning when I got this idea that President Macky Sall was going to beg for food from Russia just 40 days into the war, I felt so angry. I felt so ashamed of Africa. I mean, I felt, I can't tell you how I was, but honestly, we ought to be so ashamed of ourselves, because Africa is amongst all the 6 or 7 continents that there are on the world, Africa is the most blessed. But unfortunately, the people who are in Africa, they are not making use of the blessings that God has given them. And then we have this nice thing that we blame called colonization. Yes, colonization is there. The door is shut, get out through the window and do what you have to do. And that's what we are talking about today. We are big babies with teeth.
Yes, lots of potentials for Africa to feed the world. Where are these potentials? Is it the land or the human resources? Oh?
Listen, you know, it's about productivity. It's about production. You've probably seen this other video that is on WhatsApp, right, on social media. There's a pastor saying Wisdom 101.
Yes.
And yes, Wisdom 101, he is saying that, you know, when you look at these very rich people like Bill Gates, the guy of Facebook, all these people, and Dangote, what is peculiar about them is that, number one, they are rich. Number two, they have a product, a service that they bring to the world, something that the world needs. And when the world buys that product, when they bring those solutions to the market buys the solutions, and they are rich. So it is about bringing a solution to a problem in the marketplace. And it's about meeting the needs of the people. And Africa is unable to meet the needs of her people, and we keep crying from morning till evening, blaming Tom, Dick, and Harry, yet God has given us what it takes to feed the world. And now when it comes to that productivity, you asked me, God has given it. In fact, if you take the interesting, I'm sure you've also seen in somewhere that you can take all of China, Russia, all of that, Europe and India and so on, and squeeze them into Africa. So in terms of landmass, God has blessed us a lot. God has truly blessed us. It's true we have the Kalahari Desert down there and the Sahara Desert, but desert in itself is not a bad thing. Desert has got its own wealth. And all these other countries, all those other continents, they also have their deserts. But we have so much fertile land. We have the tropical climate, we have the tropical climate, we'll call it an equatorial climate too. Then we have the temperate climate, and we have whatever. We have a lot of rain, good temperature, fertile soils. And we are doing nothing with all of that. And yet when we look at a country like Israel, they have just desert. And they are able to farm enough and export. And yet we have what it takes to grow food, the land which is fertile, with the rain and the right temperatures. And when you take all of Africa, we have all sorts of vegetations and climates and the temperatures and rainfalls that we can grow just about anything that we want in Africa. And we are now going to go and beg for food from Russia. And while in the car, I was just asking myself the question, did God curse Africa, the African land, or did he curse the people? Or did the people curse themselves? Is it a curse from God? And let's put it this way, let's rephrase it. If we go back then and take all those Ukrainians and come and give them a gift and say, take this Africa. This Africa is a useless place, take it. And then they carry us Africans and go and squeeze them through, since we love going abroad like that, throw us in Europe, in Ukraine, in America, and so on. You know what the Ukrainians would do with Africa? You know what the Chinese would do with Africa if they were given Africa? Do you know what America would do with Africa? Africa is the most blessed place on the earth, but we lack one critical thing. We have everything. The problem of Africa is the human being. It is the human being, and I'm surprised all these presidents, you know, sitting in you call it African unity or what and so on. You're talking bullshit. You have to do what it takes to bring your people up to speed, to make use of all the blessings that God has given you, instead of running around begging for 60 years. We had COVID the other day. You couldn't treat yourself. You were running around begging, even for face masks. You couldn't make yourself mask. Today, war has just started. It's just 40 days. It's not even gone far. So you start begging at 40. So if this war goes on for 3, 4, 5 years, I'm sure we're going to bury all of Africa. So we have all these things, and we cannot just go on begging and begging and begging and begging. Back to our problem. So where is the problem? The problem lies in the fact that we lack human capacity. That is the word. There's no human capacity. We have no skills to do anything. You might say, oh no, we have a lot of schools and universities. 80% of our children are going to school. Studying what? Studying what? That's the problem. You're studying history, geography, philosophy, biology, blah, 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 disjointed things in your head. When you have finished at age 20, you want a first degree, a master's, and a PhD. You get a PhD at 30, 35 in a subject, and you still cannot spell your name. That's the problem. And you have a big certificate, and you are looking for a job all over the whole place with a lot of opportunities around you. We have to work on the human capacity and correct it. And all this running around the world and begging is very primitive.
Now, we have so many crises in Africa. We've not seen President Macky Sall go to the DRC where there are conflicts. We've not seen him in Cameroon actually come to show interest or concern for what is happening. We've not seen him in other parts of how many persons are asking the question why he is moving to Russia and Ukraine to ask for a situation to be fixed so that they're not affected when there are very many problems in Africa that we have not seen same concern?
No, the problems of Africa, especially the problems of violence all over Africa, the problems of violence all over Africa, starting from Cameroon, every country, almost every country in Cameroon, I mean in Africa has got issues. There are domestic issues and so on. But those issues, they kind of like have the same shades and color. And therefore, like I was reading again, when these guys, when they go and sit at the AU, they don't discuss those things. Because if you try to attack those issues, it's like knifing yourself. You are shooting yourself in the foot. So if you go to the AU and actually examine the problems that are plaguing Africa, you'll be talking about yourself and you will be guilty of what you are saying is happening. That's the problem. So they pretend nothing happens. They blame each other, blame colonialization or whatever and whatever. Talk over things, but leave the key thing untouched. They don't face the truth. That is the problem. And I hear that they don't even, I mean, their office in Addis Ababa, I understand it was built by the Chinese. It was not even built by them. The Chinese build the thing for you and put in listeners and everything. So whatever they are discussing there, the Chinese are following up. So we are not even independent. We can't even build ourselves an office. We can't do anything for ourselves. That is the problem. And by the way, if you're asking, why is there so many problems in Africa? it's very easy to understand where the problems come from. And I might say it in one or two, on my 5 fingers or whatever, but run through all the African countries, they are the same problems. And these problems stem from the fact that we don't understand human needs. That's the Maslow defined this thing called the human needs, and they're put in a pyramid or a triangle. And the most basic needs are the needs for food, the need for water, the need for air, the need for sleep. These are the physiological needs, and then the need for excretion. So when you see Macky Sall running to Ukraine or to Russia or wherever he's running for to go and beg for wheat or rice or whatever, it's because one of those first primary needs is at stake, the need for food. And so he's going, he knows that if we don't have food, people are going to suffer and die. We will be becoming an Ethiopia that will spread all over the whole place. But he fails to realize that he had the opportunity to grow the food and he was not growing it. That's the problem we are here to try to solve today. That we have problems, we have the opportunity to solve the problems, but we don't use our brains to think.
We are in 2022.
Yeah.
We got independence in the 1960s.
60 years ago, yeah.
60 years ago.
Yeah.
And almost everybody, from the political perspective,
yes,
wants Africa to be seen as being independent, sovereign states.
Yeah.
Now, 60 years after, we are not even food independent.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. You see, I don't know who deceived us. We didn't understand the concept of independence. I'm glad you mentioned it. You see, the white man gave us what he called independence and deceived you with a birth certificate. He gave you a birth certificate. You know, before independence, we were agitating, fighting, and killing ourselves. We want independence. We want independence. But the white man is a very clever guy. You know, he was more. So what he did is he gave you a piece of paper and said, "Okay, you are independent." And then whether it was in the first of January or which day, it doesn't matter. But he gives you independence. Okay, you have your independence on the 1st of January. Celebrate it. And for 60 years we've been celebrating. But unfortunately, the African did not know that there is a word called independence, interdependence, and the dependence, and how those things work. And the true independence is not that birth certificate that you are given on the 1st of January 1960. That is not independence. It's just paper. That paper they gave you was just to say, okay, you can govern yourself, you can have choose your own president, have your own government, and decide what you have to do with your time and with your resources, so to speak. But that is not the most important. So when you have the power to govern, what are you using that power for? That's what we did not get. You're supposed to use that power, that is the politics, to do 2 very important things. To manage your economy, and 2, to manage your development. When we are talking about managing your economy and development, economy is about producing goods and services and selling them locally and internationally, and earning money and satisfying your people and putting money into their pockets. It's about selling goods and services. The question is, how do you develop the goods and services to be able to be sold at high value? That's what we have failed at. Number 2, you have to have your development right. The development, there are 2 types of development. You have the development of infrastructure, communication, roads, hospitals, housing, water, transportation, mobile technology, whatever. All of that, those are physical structures, logistics. Then the other, so that's part A, right? And then part B of development is one thing, and which is the most important thing that Africans fail to realize, is the development of human capacity. I said human capacity. If anybody woke you up in the night and asked you what is the most important thing that every African ought to get, that thing is called human capacity. And human capacity, that's what we go to get in our schools. That's what we get in our nursery schools, primary schools, universities. That's what we get in our informal education. That's what we get when we go to our workshops and what have you. But that is exactly where we have failed. Because in trying to have that human capacity, we didn't understand what we ought to be studying. So the white man said, now you have independence, you have to have universities and schools, and they deceived us with these grammar schools. These grammar schools is a big deceit. They are no use. And when you go there and you study 11 different subjects, and at the end of the 5 years you pass in 11 subjects and all A grades, and you clap for yourself and you think you did something wonderful. No. You need an education which gives you skills to be able to use that head knowledge that you are getting to solve your problems. And therefore, the best kind of secondary schools is not even the technical colleges. It's a composite of schools where you bring wait, let me just finish this. Where you bring the grammar schools and the technical schools and put them together into what we call comprehensive colleges, okay. And you develop the right human capacity with knowledge and skills to be able to grow your rice, grow your wheat, grow your cows, grow your chicken, make your aeroplanes, make your cell phones, tie your roads, and so on. That's where we failed.
Okay, Dr. Nick, I'm going to take a call. There was somebody who wanted to contribute through a call. I hope he calls back. Wanted to take him, that since you were on, I could not. But we're talking about, when you look at what happened with COVID-19, yeah, Africa depended on the West for assistance.
Yes.
Today, Africa is also threatened from the food perspective. Mm-hmm. Are we being told, reminded by God, that we are not independent?
Yeah, I mean, that is it. You know, someone somewhere said that, you know, whenever you go to a funeral, you know, when you go to a funeral, don't cry for the person who is being buried, cry for yourself. You ought to be thinking about your own life, about your own self when you go to any funeral. When someone dies, go there. You know, be with the family and sympathize with the family. But while you are sitting there, don't just be eating and drinking. Be thinking about your own life. That's where Africa fails. Africa fails to think of herself. And when the COVID came up, COVID was a very big challenge. But I was very happy with COVID, thinking that the COVID was going to jolt us out of our laissez-faire attitude, so that we begin to realize that the world doesn't function as we think, and we can just keep on just doing whatever we want anytime. But unfortunately, all habits die hard. So we didn't learn any lessons from COVID, and then the COVID is over, so to speak, and then we go back to our old habits and continue to drink and to do our foolish things. And this war comes and just threatens our food security, and we start running helter-skelter. Because in Africa, we don't sow, we don't prepare for the rainy days. We live a hand-to-mouth life, and the agriculture is subsistent. And then they also deceive us with the kind of agriculture where we grow some things that we call cash crops. That's a deceit. So we spend our time, use our farmlands to grow cash crops that is sold to someone who doesn't give us the right value for our goods, who doesn't give us all our money. He gives us some change, and then we take that change, and then we go to the Chinese and buy rice, then go to some people, buy wine, and so on. So we are a confused people, and we need to straighten this. It's very, very important. It's very important. Is he on?
Hello?
I want to join your program.
Okay. We listen.
I'm calling from the...
You're calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from the Gambia.
Okay.
The Gambia.
Yes, go on.
Our African leaders are disgraced.
Okay.
I don't know, why can't we stand for ourselves? Why should we be begging all the time? Why can't they look up to Paul Kagame of Rwanda? Look at him, what he's doing. He's trying for his people.
So what would you have expected?
I think they need to do something. At least let them stood up.
Okay, you're right. You are calling from the Gambia. What would you have expected President Macky Sall to do and other African presidents? Hello? Hello?
They should invest in their younger generation. Let them invest in their country. Let them stop traveling all the time, spending on traveling. They should stop that. Let them invest. Let them invest on agriculture.
Hello? Okay, we lost the caller from the Gambia. She says that African heads of state are a disgrace. I would not want to go that way. Yeah, but are we being disgraced by this move? Because we should be feeding the world.
Yes.
Israel is a desert nation.
Yes.
They are not begging for food.
No.
Africa is on its knees for food.
So in fact, they are disgraced. They're hurting us. They're hurting us, and we are very angry about it. Proud Africans are very, very angry about what our presidents are doing. Like the lady from the Gambia, he's saying African presidents should invest in their youths. What does she mean by that? Invest in science, technology, engineering, economics, mathematics, agriculture, food transformation. It's very important. Start teaching your children agriculture from nursery school to primary school, to secondary school, and to university. And everybody should do that. And I know some countries where the director of agriculture, the director of agriculture, the secretary general of agriculture, the minister of agriculture,
Hello?
and all the big people in agriculture don't have a farm.
Hello?
Expect them
good evening, sir.
Support agriculture.
Evening.
Yes, where are you calling from and your name, please?
I'm Benjamin calling from Cameroon.
Yes. Your take on the topic for today.
Resources. We ought to feed the world and not the world to feed us.
Okay. And how are we supposed to feed the world?
If we invest in the agricultural sector, the African continent is blessed in, let me say, the soil is fertile and helps us to invest. If we invest in the agricultural domain, we can feed the world because we have of raw materials, good soils to produce food. So I don't know why each time the African president travel here and there to Europe to go and ask for aid and all the rest.
Now, are you surprised that 60 years after our independence, we are going to meet Vladimir Putin, plead with him to release wheat to Africa? How should President Vladimir Putin be considering Africans? Is it that we are poor or we are ignorant of what we possess? Hello?
Yeah, I'm getting you.
Yes, you are on. What were you saying?
I was not getting you. The talk is not that clear.
Okay, Dr. Nick, many persons are actually not happy with this situation.
No,
it is also very revealing to the world.
Yes.
We've not seen Brazilians rush to Ukraine. We've not seen Americans themselves.
Indians are not rushing there.
Yeah.
The Chinese are not rushing there. If they are going, they are probably asking for oil. Nothing, not rice. It's just so unfortunate. China has to feed all of Africa with rice.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, you are. Yes, Mr. Leo.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Leo.
Yes, your name and where you are calling from and your participation to the program.
Yes, I'm Mr. George Babila.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, we have a lot of arable lands in Africa. Like I always say when I'm giving my talks, Africa have the least Africa family is not worth less than $5 million based on our lands that we have in our various villages. So if we can invest in agriculture,
yeah, go on. Go on.
So if we can invest in agriculture, it will go a long way to help us as a nation. We don't need to go out there and be begging for it.
Can Africa actually survive on its own?
Hello? We have a lot of arable lands in Africa. Like I always say when I'm giving my talks.
Okay. Good
You
evening.
got the choir.
Good evening. Hello. Okay, Dr. Nick. Now, is it actually true that we cannot survive without the West? And if we have been depending on the West, now turning to the East, is it a good sign?
No, it's not a good sign in the sense that you could be going to the East or to the West when you are born. All right, you are born in 1960. One can understand why you have to go to the East and the West. But at 60, you're with a grown-up man with gray hair and a bald head like my own. You are still running to the you cannot spell your name. You still have to be choosing between East and West. That's not good enough. You've not shown that you're mature, and that's very troubling. And for those of our people who want to speak on voice, please stay away from your TV set because there's a lot of interference. Stay away so that it can be clear.
Good evening. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello, Mr. Leo.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Leo.
Your name and where you are calling from and your contribution.
Okay, thank you. It's Mr. Anthony from Bamenda.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to say, if you look at the situation in Cameroon, you realize that all we need is good leadership, especially in Africa, not only Cameroon, because when you look at what is happening, you realize that, just take a case of Cameroon, you realize that not up to 30% land has been occupied. And if you want to invest in all the 10 regions, if you want to look at it critically, you realize that if the government can invest highly in agriculture, it is going to go a very long way. If you look at the number of students that graduate every year in Cameroon, that they are jobless, you realize that if the government can invest in, let me say, modern agriculture, industrial agriculture, you realize that most youth in Cameroon will not be jobless. And if we can equally adopt the Western method of transformation, not us selling our products to the Western world, because you realize that people who make cocoa, most cocos are leaving Africans to Europe, wheat are leaving Africans to Europe, and all the coffee is leaving Africa to Europe. And at the end of the day, you realize that what they're giving to the Africans is very minimal. And most youth in Africa, the doctrine, the education that was given to Africa is making them to be where we are today. Most Africans don't believe in themselves because we believe the white man country is a place for us to be. Take for instance, and I cannot blame them. Most people are traveling through Sahara Desert, some are traveling through the sea. Every day in Africa, you are seeing thousands of youths have been killed in the desert. Some are going to Mexico just because they're looking for greener pasture, of which we have everything it takes in this Africa. We have everything. Africans are not actually lazy. We lack the education because the way we were brought up, the education the white gave us, make us to believe in this, in the situation we find ourselves. Then take for example, like one of the things the youth complain a lot, the youth have the potentials. And one thing we believe so much in, how can I put it, how can I put it? Like, if you give me something, I benefit from it. I don't care about whatever the others will do. Like, those are in power. Most of them are being voted by the youth. If you look at it in Cameroon in particular, the total population of Cameroon constitutes of youth. More than 65% total population of Cameroon is youth. But the youth themselves don't believe in themselves. Just imagine, just take for example, that young people that are doing excellently well in the government, very well, because they still have the mindset. They want to transform. And if we continue with this, our kind of mindset, we believe in bribery and corruption, I don't think we can go anywhere.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Leo.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Prime Hour. So the calls are just coming now. Dr. Nick, he talked about the need to transform African agriculture, transform African products. Yes.
Good. I'm glad that, if you've been listening carefully, everybody who has been speaking, we have been saying the same thing. So we are all agreed on what should be done. And you remember, I've been screaming that in Cameroon, you can provide 2 million jobs for youths every 2 years, right? And why is it 2 years? 2 years because we can give them the training, and in 2 years they are good enough to be able to be productive.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Leo.
Yes, you are on Prime Hour. Your name, where you are calling from, and your contribution.
I'm Banlab. I'm calling from far north.
Okay.
Yes, my contribution is mentality of the African leaders and most of the Africans. The issue here is that in Africa, you have all the resources, you have the human resource, you have the wealth, you have the material at hand. Why is it that an African country cannot take something like rubber, like cuckoo, and start it from the raw material to the processing and then export it to the white man? Why is that we must import white man to come and be our managers? Then we will remain there. If our African leaders, if they can have a remote brainwash of entrepreneurship that the white man is for us, and then they take the leadership, and then we have talented people in Cameroon that are working out of country because you want to obey your own country, your own government is again a problem to you. If they can take that challenge and accept the challenge, and then they will build a nation that will have a future Cameroon. All the resources are in Africa, but the white man is the one processing it for us. How can we grow? How can the white man that is controlling our resources allow us?
Thank you very much.
To enjoy our resources.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Hello. Good evening. Hello? Hello, good evening.
From Boya.
Yes?
Yes, the contribution I want to give considering this topic is everything boils down to leadership. I think African leaders are supposed to be, they are supposed to be people that are research driven.
Can you move a little bit away from your TV set, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I believe that African leaders, this stuff, yeah, good evening.
Yes, go on.
Yeah, this thing boils down to leadership. I think our leaders need to be aware that, hello?
Go on, you are on.
Yes, our leaders need to be aware that African nations have been dependent on agriculture. And if we can invest so much in agriculture. Now look at a young man like Roland Pomungam, who left US and came to Cameroon and is doing greenhouse. Those are people that we can even make as the Minister of Agriculture, who have the passion to drive our agricultural space. People go to Europe, America to bring to consult with presidents to give us funds. Africans are more than that. Africans are more than that. We need to sit down. We look at the country like Israel. Look at the country like Israel. Israel is doing amazing well in agriculture, and it's a desert. Yes. So
okay.
look at we need to build capacity. We lack the human resource. We need to send our children to different universities, stronger universities like Harvard, here on scholarship to go and study and come back and deploy.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Leo.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, I wish to get to the program.
Yes, your name and where you are calling from and your contribution.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Taku from Yaoundé Bankolo.
Okay.
Yeah. I would just like to tell you that most of these African leaders, they are suffering from ignorance. Yes. So I think it is very, very preferable for them to first of all sort out that particular sickness before they can start to really manage us African. Thank you.
Thank you very much from Yaoundé Bankolo. To be more precise, I'll take. Oops, cursor. Hello. 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 Yeah. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening.
Yeah, evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
The problem is, the problem is.
Hello, good evening.
The problem.
Good evening. Your name and where you are calling from.
Calling you from Dubai.
Okay. And your contribution, please. Hello? Very difficult to take. Many calls are just coming and interfering to the discussion. Yes, you've noted most of the things raised by most of the panelists they center around our leadership.
That's right. If you listen to, in fact, we do have problems in Africa. There's no question. We have problems in Cameroon. We have problems in every country. And if you listen to everybody who has been contributing, it's not like we don't know the problems and the solutions. Just bring a couple of Africans and just have everybody brainstorm as we are doing. And you have the problems well defined and you have the solutions and we go ahead and solve them. Like one of the person who was speaking was saying, we should send our children to Harvard and so on to study. You don't need to do that. You cannot take 25 million people and send to Harvard to go and study. You create, change your policies here to make agriculture a key thing. And then bring, if you don't have the experts here to teach you the agriculture, go look for them in India, China, Pakistan, or anywhere, and then put them to train your children to do it. For instance, instead of us importing rice day in, day out, go bring some Chinese and some Pakistani and some people and some Indians, and then give them 10,000 youths to just, for 2 years, learn only how to grow rice. And give them the machinery and everything, and they give them the land, and they will produce all the rice that we need. If you want wheat, do the same. In fact, even as we speak, I hope that next year we can do it. In Nigeria, they have been experimenting with wheat for quite some time now. We'll go to Nigeria and buy wheat seeds from there and come and plant all of the Northwest with wheat and continue in the North. So it's about being productive. That is where the thing is. Just put youths together, they finish the A-levels, give them general concepts of agriculture, animal production, plant production. Then when they have gotten the basics, then you regroup them and put them in specific areas to study specific crops.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Your name and where you are calling from and your contribution.
I'm calling from, this is Panelists who's calling from Yaoundé, sir.
Okay.
I'm trying to be part and parcel of the program.
Can you step away from your TV set, please? Hello?
Yes, I'm getting, sir.
Yes. Can you step away from your TV set?
Yeah, I'm far away from the TV, sir.
Okay, go on.
From the program I've been following, sir, obviously, they have been complaining. People are complaining, our leaders. But to be candid, I am a youth who was experienced like coming to agriculture, but we are not motivated. We
we are not motivated. The problem comes from us, the young people, because they keep on complaining of the leaders that our African leaders don't want to support. Yes, we accept that. I, for one, am a struggling somebody. I have talent in agriculture. But where do I get that support? And most young people, they keep complaining, leaders do not do that. They do not assist in one or two ways. But where are the youth? What have they started that the leaders have not intervened to help or to assist? Same as the leaders as well. I am in one cooperative in Bamenda. There was this NGO who came in and supported the youth for agriculture in poultry. But along the line, some kind of things were coming. So the motivation is not there from the base. That is it. From the base, the motivation is not there. How can we now keep on saying most young people now are escaping away from agriculture? But what can the government do now to give grant aid to young people who are actually willing and are ready to work that agriculture? They are most people. They're in Yaoundé, Bamenda, idling, and even here in Yaoundé. I'm struggling to set up a business here, a family here in Yaoundé, but I don't have motivation. I don't have support. I don't have nothing. Where can I run to see that I have somebody who can support in that agriculture? I am willing and ready, but the support is not there. So you see now we keep on complaining. I, for one, actually am talking out of experience because we need the people, government, need to go down to people who are ready, because if they keep on saying the young people, let them come and they train, they only go there just to have that certificate, the name, and they go out, they loiter around the street.
Thank you very, very much. I hope the message is gone through. The youth will need to be motivated, and the government has to do something also. Thank you for that caller in Yaoundé. We are also going to take another caller. Oops. Difficult to get. Hello? 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 Good evening, sir.
Yes, and good evening to Dr. Nick.
Okay, good evening.
Yes, my name is Baba Robert, calling from Yaoundé.
Okay.
Yes, my contribution is that our leaders, I don't know if they are under bondage, because they did not do well. Because let me first say this: when the minister of Muslimi was a minister of agriculture, a kilo of cocoa was sold at 2,000 francs, which make farmer to feel happy and to go in for. And when he was removed, a kilo was say come down to 800 francs. So if you invest in agriculture and you don't have that in return, you will not be happy, and you will not do that. Senegal is a country that produces rice. Where are there the rice that they can produce that can even save Africa? We have land that is well fertile, but Africa don't know the use of that land. They always go and borrow money from white and go and return back there and form their economy through agriculture. They are going there for food. While we have food, they don't know how to manage it. So I don't know if they are under bondage. Because see, there's rice in Cameroon, in North, in Dub, everywhere. There's tomato, but they don't invest there. You can see a tomato now sell at 2,000, 2,500. How can a farmer invest millions in a farm and in return he don't have anything in return? So our leaders have to encourage the farmer to do well in their farm, to produce well, to open a company where they can produce. The farmer can work a rice and they come and buy, so that it can be made in Cameroon. That when they are going to sell it in Nigeria, sell it in Gabon, sell it everywhere, they know that this rice is from Cameroon, this tomato is from Cameroon, this is from Cameroon. Or we import and we go there again to ask them for food while our land is fertile. So what I would say is that let Cameroon, all the Africans, let's pray for our leaders. I don't know if they are under bondage, because when somebody wants to do good, they always bring him down. As I take an example, when Messi may come up, a bag of a kilo of cocoa was 2,000, and when he was removed, a bag of a kilo of cocoa come down to 800. If you are a farmer, what will you do?
Okay. Thank you.
So
thank you.
That's my contribution, sir.
Thank you very much for that contribution. Very, very important. Someone called from Yaoundé and talked about motivation. He is also talking about motivation for the farmers. Should the government not do something, even because when we talk of feeding a continent, we are talking about large scale, but even at the minimal scale where we have people who are wanting to venture into this, should there not be an extra motivation for them to continue?
Yes, many have raised a lot of very useful points, but it's about giving them an understanding on how things work, and then we have to re-strategize whatever we are doing so that we can succeed. This way, the skills for entrepreneurship come in. You know, producing large scale, producing cheap, transforming, selling internally and selling externally. So like the last speaker speaking and complaining about the price of cocoa dropping from 2,000 to 800, he is right. The price dropped not because the minister was removed, because that minister does not determine the price of cocoa. The price of cocoa is determined on the international market. He's giving the impression that this minister who is there is probably the one who dropped it or something. No, those ministers have nothing to do with the price of cocoa. And the question is, what should we be doing? What should we be doing so that we have money in our pockets? You probably should be asking the question, why don't we transform the cocoa ourselves? Why don't we transform the coffee ourselves? Why don't we? Then the next question is, why are you growing what you don't eat? Then you will sell it and take the few pennies to go and buy what you eat that you could have grown yourself. You see the question. So we need to rethink what we are doing.
We need to re-strategize.
Yes, we need to.
Okay. Good evening and welcome.
The question is, what should we do? What should we be doing?
Hello?
Hello?
It's listening to the TV rather than listening to
himself.
Yes. So we are saying that we should know what we need.
Yes.
And know where to invest,
yes,
so that we don't waste resources. Yes. Good evening. Okay.
I also was listening to, there's a video that was, you know, when you listen to YouTube a lot, you can learn some things. There was a man, I mean, this YouTube is not, it's just recent, you know, after Macron's re-election. And he was trying he was doing a SWOT analysis on Macron. And he was saying, look, Macron has been there, the agriculture in France is down, and he was complaining so bitterly. And he made us to understand that if France is a great nation, it's because of her agriculture. If France used to be a great nation, it's because of her agriculture. And then Macron came and has not supported that agriculture a lot, and so they are falling back. So if a nation like France survives because of agriculture, if America survives because of agriculture, if China survives because of agriculture, then we Africans ought to realize that agriculture is the backbone of all industries, because everybody eats 3 times a day. You can have all the planes, all the ships, and all the best roads, but if you have no food to eat, you are in deep trouble. And the day there's no food in Africa, any country that doesn't have enough food for its citizens, the people are going to be violent. You know, like in Cameroon in 2008, there were problems.
Yes, can you just go on, because it's been difficult getting you through. Hello? Hello? Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Your name and where you are calling from, and your contribution.
Yes, I'm calling from Bamenda. I'm Stanley.
You're calling from Bamenda?
Yes.
Okay. Go on.
So my contribution is, I just wanted to talk on what the
Yes, go on. Okay. Hello?
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Your contribution, please. The calls are just interfering. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, I'm very sorry about the breakup. Yes, I was the one who just called. I'm Stanley calling from Amanda. Yes, I just wanted to stress on what Edwin is talking there. You see, about concerning agriculture. He made a point that was very, very pertinent. Concerning thousands of advanced level holders who are, roaming the streets with nothing to do. Meanwhile, the agricultural setup, the agricultural schools that they could have been enrolled in, and be trained on specialized, crops for agriculture. What are the agricultural schools in Cameroon doing? If you look at the political situation in Cameroon now, you see most youth are being derailed into politics, and what is going on in the country can also be backed by a high level unemployment. So if the government can, actually stress on or really talk on, or really, specify on bringing advanced level holders, opening a center where they can embark on agricultural things. It can be agricultural farming and crops and so on, where they can specialize. And I think if we can do that, as I was talking, in less than 5 years, Cameroon is going to be booming. And in fact, you find a low level of unemployment, because these agricultural products, normally most of them are raw materials to major industries. So I want to really applaud what Sir is talking, and I want that the government is always giving a deaf ear to what you guys are saying there. If they are taking into consideration what you guys are saying, I think in 4 years or 5 years, Cameroon will be a place to be. Look at Holland, look at France, as he has just mentioned. Look at America, as he has just mentioned. Agriculture, the key is look at what they are doing. They can learn agriculture. But yeah, even to give subsidies to farmers is a problem.
Thank you.
I want to cite one example. There was a program in one of the divisions in Mezam, the subdivisions in Mezam. I don't want to really specify, because I know they know. The governor was there, dignitaries from them, they were there, and they gave, they gave a loan for poultry farmers to empower the youth. Since that money was given and that check was given, up to today that we are talking, I have not seen any poultry, any measure state poultry that has been carried on in relation to that check that.
Okay, thank you very much, calling them. Bamenda, lots of calls from Bamenda. We are glad to know that there is light in Bamenda this evening. Yes, judged by the numbers of calls that are coming. Yeah, but we are talking about investment in agriculture.
Yeah.
Instead of moving to say we need wheat in Africa, was it not also wise to have called for an emergency African crisis meeting to see how we can better, as Africa, invest in this sector so that we can feed ourselves?
You are right, and that's what we are doing here at My Media Prime Television, because as you know, this television is watched all over Africa and the world. You could hear people talking from Turkey and wherever. And so we are giving Africa the message from this room. If the presidents could have gathered in Ethiopia, 60 of them, but they didn't touch on it. They are concerned more about the next election. But we on this television, we are concerned about how to feed Africa, because if we can feed the Africans, then there will be no violence. The violence is going to reduce. If we can grow all the food and don't import, then that money would go to make our youth happy. So we have to change the way we think. We have to change the way we do business. We have to be entrepreneurial and intentional about the things we do. So it's very, very important.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from? Your name also and your contribution.
I'm calling Mr. Silas. I'm calling from Silas Nansen. I'm calling from Yaoundé.
Okay.
I want to say good evening to Doctor.
Thank you.
I've said that Dr. Nji is a man that government have to follow his idea and follow the proposal that have proposed to government. All the time is saying to maybe we are in the country that government don't take about what people are proposing in the government, because we have to bring the system. I have to tell those that we propose about the system of education that we have in Dr. NZELIO. Because our system of education, you see a child from nursery school is carrying around more than 11 good mathematics, geography, everything. It's meaning of what? Let a child follow what they call a talent that if a child want to play football, let it a football school that the child can go tomorrow. Yeah? Then we are talking about agriculture. people are running farm because when you are working farm, you don't have money, you don't have anything. I'm a farmer, I'm a driver, I'm having a farm in the White Village there. There's no road to farm, everything. When you can go to farm, you can make 2 days, 3 days. Even to come back is not easy. But only that our government is only there. I don't know. Our African leader, NZELIO, they have already been tired. They are already been tired. They are only looking up Europe, That even good thing can come from Europe, Mr. NZELIO. No, I don't accept that. We have everything here, we African. But only that people like Messenger, people like Dr. Government have to follow. It's a man that already following so long time, so many years, even in some channel, television channel. He's only talking about the system of education and crying every day. But government cannot listen to this man, this doctor. He's a man who have a vision for Cameroon, who seen things are coming very far from Cameroon. But government cannot listen, Mr. Coop. These are the Yaoundé regime. They don't care about anything. They don't care.
Thank you very much for your contribution. We are glad to note that you are watching and also are participating. Many of you are wanting to talk to. For the first time, we're giving opportunity for persons to call in and also take part in the program. Yes, Dr. Nick, we're talking about having an emergency crisis meeting to see into it that Africa takes care of its problems, especially food.
That's right. Yeah, the African leaders, they need to talk about this very seriously. But the question is, why don't they do it? Because they are not thinking. They are not thinking. Honestly, they are not thinking. If you were thinking, all these our children who are dying in the Mediterranean Sea, they will not be dying there. At 4 a.m., our children wake up to go and line up in front of the U.S. Embassy to run to America. Why? Why aren't you thinking? You're only thinking of, you know, getting a post, getting money, corrupting, putting your brothers, sisters, and so on. That's not proper.
Yeah, but Dr. Nick, moving over to Russia to request the Russians to release weed into Africa.
Yeah.
Do we size up how much money Africa will need to transfer to Russia for the weed to come in?
That is the problem. You need to see how much money we spend from African countries, you know, how much money we don't spend, how much money we throw away at others just to get food. And as we talk, I think we import food to the tune of 350 billion francs in Cameroon only. And most of it is rice, is fish, is champagne, and some of these stupid things. Sometimes we even import water to drink.
Good evening and welcome. Hello? Yes, your name, where you're calling from, and your contribution.
Yeah, I'm called Mr. David from Amanda.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, thank you very much for your program. The first thing is that I want to thank Dr. Nick, and I want to encourage him that he should use this program in a public radio, because all what we speak in a private radio is very teaching, but in the public radio it does not go. Many people that are graduating from the agri school, why do they need to go again for public exams? Why do we graduate from public school, from training school, and then we go again for other exams before you are being recruited into the government? So I want to plead that Dr. Nick should use this program and many other programs in public radios. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We also understand that Dr. Richard is online from Kenya. Good evening, Doctor. We're glad to know that you finally made it to the program today. Hello, Doctor. Hello? Let me know when Doctor is available. Desmond, please. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Yeah, your name and where you calling from? Your contribution, please. Okay, good evening, Doctor. We're glad to have you live from Kenya.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Leo, and to the viewers. It's a great pleasure to join this interesting discussion today.
I have followed you these days. You are in Nigeria or somewhere in West Africa, and also I see you around farms. Are you also very concerned, like many of those who have called today, to note that, to observe that Africans are rushing to Russia and Ukraine to release food down here?
You know, let's put things in perspective.
Okay.
The reality is that you cannot live borrowed soil. And when you look across the entire African continent, we are losing food as a continent worth $8 billion every year as a result of lack of value addition. And because of that, the continent is importing. That is, I've said so many times, importing on and exporting employment. But when you look at the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, the issue is that the continent of Africa has been importing wheat, 50 billion every year. And as a result of that, they are not actually focused on what they are supposed to use as their competitive advantage. The continent of Africa has 65 billion and import food that is worth $50 US. But Africa needs to understand that we cannot continuously import food, especially wheat. When we have a strategic crop, what I call Africa's strategic reserve, SAVA, that can actually be able to replace wheat and the continent to recoup that is being expended on nutrition. So the discussion on whether we have to depend on the outside world to feed Africa, to me, is one that is misplaced, because Africa in the first place is supposed to feed, not actually waiting for the world to feed. This is an opportunity for the book internal and start to look at how to leverage a strategic crop, which is actually going to survive the changing climate, to 8% of cassava will reduce, 20% of wheat will reduce. So if you are focusing on wheat, it's like you're going to have food, feed yourself and the people. So we need to look at that, because we cannot survive on borrowed soil. And this importation of food is actually borrowed soil.
Okay, but when you look at where Africa is today, should we learn from what has happened and start preparing for possibilities of having even more difficult times in the next few years? Because we may be faced with another situation where we will not be able to be served from Europe and America. What do we do?
I didn't really get the question, please. There's an echo.
Yes, I was asking whether it is time for Africans to learn from what they are going through today because of the war in Russia and Ukraine, and start thinking of working harder to be self-sufficient, because there is that possibility to have a similar situation happen in the entire Europe and America that we depend on also.
Yes, let me this, if I go through, because there's simply a lot of effort in the studio. If you look at continent of Africa, I have said that Africa is actually a continent that has food sufficient, because if you are not producing, you can produce food that is worth $40 billion US. So that's where I want to pick from that perspective. We have enough feed over 257 million. The only problem is that the continent has production. But production has continuously not the continent, because we're looking at the entire value chain through those services. And therefore, the importation and exportation. So what needs to happen today is that the continent to think production, and at the same time start to do addition. That is where it will be created, where it will be. That is, we can then be sure that I have enough. But my issue is not just a government. It's an issue for you and me as it. It's an issue for the private sector, society, for journalists, communicating, for doing, and people citizens. Why? Because what I call the engine sector for Africa. No single African country will be able to achieve economic efficiency without expanding and making the economy an exception.
Okay.
Therefore, the continent needs to engage young people to skills and inspire them to become the of the solution in the agro sector, especially the and then be able to add value. Simple tools of big importation, simple solar and simple solar fridges that will be able to serve their food. The second aspect is that agriculture needs to be beyond just about growing crops to add value, and this now needs to be taught in school as agro. What I regarded for journalism, it doesn't matter. It must become a compulsory. Everyone in the school take. But government provides incentives, and these incentives are not very. They remove taxes on inputs that can then be. For example, I read so actually reduce stamp duties, of some technologies, solar.
Okay, doctor, the sound quality is not really the best. We have to cut you there. We hope we have another opportunity of discussing this in detail after the president of Macky Sall must have discussed with President Vladimir Putin, and back we must have had much more information on what has transpired, and then we also give opportunity for Africans to call in from across the nations of Africa and participate to tell the heads of state what they expect from them. Dr. Nick, thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you very much. It was a pleasure being with you and opening up these discussions. It looks like it's something we've got to discuss for a very long time so that it sinks. But the bottom line is that we are not doing well in Africa. God has blessed us so much, but we are silly, we are stupid, and we need to change. It's very, very important. I don't know what Macky Sall is going to bring from Russia. You can bring the food, is great, but ask them to come and teach us how to grow the wheat and the rice and whatever you're looking for, and change the way you do business. Africa has to change. The way we are doing, we cannot be big babies at 60 still running around begging like kids. It's very primitive, and it lets us down. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. We are going to be moving to the second part of today's edition of the program, which has to do with the fact that the Azire Credit Union is going to be opening their doors in Boya, Southwest Regional Capital, tomorrow. And in the studio with me is Mrs. NZELIO CHARLAINE, Head of Marketing Department, AziCCUL. Good evening, Madam, and welcome.
Good evening, sir. And good evening to the population of Boya and to the entire public of Douala, since Boya is our target market for now.
Yes, but you have to greet the world, because you are also watched. You are watched across the world now. They watch you in Maroua, in Yaoundé, so you should greet Cameroonians across the world.
All right, I'm greeting the entire world wherever they are watching us, even on the Facebook page that I just saw outside.
Okay, we also are in the company of Mr. Edwin Tepi. Edwin Tepi is the marketing officer at AziCCUL. We're glad to have you also in our studios for the first time.
Yeah, Mr. Leo, it's a pleasure being here, and good evening to all televiewers. It's my pleasure being here to talk about our new branch we are opening in Boya.
We also are in the company of Mr. Awah Anye, Assistant General Manager at the Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Good evening, Mr. Assistant General Manager. Glad to have you in our studios for the very first time.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. It's a pleasure being here at the studios of My Media Prime. I want to greet members of the Azire Cooperative Credit Union all over Cameroon and the world. and most especially the board members of Azire Credit Union and members of the Supervisory Board who are in Boya presently for the inauguration of the AziCCUL branch of Boya.
We'll start with you. You're starting the branch in Boya tomorrow. Why this late, as Azire has been existing for long? Well,
they always say, Mr. Leo, is better late than never. It has been the cry for the denizens of Boya that we come to Boya and establish because they know the goodwill of Azire Credit Union. Azire Credit Union is a household name, so they believe in our credibility. So we are coming now because the members of Azire Credit Union in Boya and the population of Boya, they need Azire Credit Union. So that's why we're coming. Like I said, it's better late than never.
Now, what is different with AziCCUL?
AziCCUL is different in the sense that when you see there are credit unions and there are credit unions.
Okay.
When you see the cry of members of credit union is that it is difficult for you to keep your money in the credit union and you withdraw at will. But in Azire Credit Union, when you keep your money, you can withdraw at any time. Now we have some other products and services which are peculiar with Azire Credit Union.
Okay.
For instance, if you're a civil servant and your salary is domiciled through Azire Credit Union, we will not ask you to bring collateral before we give you a loan. We can give you a loan of up to 5 million francs based on your salary. And normally we equally have we operate a micro loan schemes that we target mostly small economic operators like the buy and sell lands or petty traders. We can give them loans, micro loans of up to 1 million francs without asking them any collateral. So these are some of the peculiarities that make AziCCUL unique. And there are some other services that we render.
Yeah, very difficult to imagine that a civil servant without a collateral, they call it due diligence process. You don't respect it. A buyer and seller who is just will not be asked to bring land certificate. How possible is that?
Yes, sticking to collaterals and conducting due diligence when granting loans is a general rule in the credit union.
Okay.
But because the monies of the members are a trust that we are keeping, we are supposed to protect this money and invest it wisely so that at the end of the year, the members will enjoy good interest on their savings. That's the general rule. But for every rule, there are exceptions. And this exception of sticking to collaterals apply to civil servants and buy and sell. Because for civil servants, once your salary is domiciled through the union by the state, by the Minister of Finance, it is very sure that the money will come in. So when you come now, we assess you how much you earn from your pay slip now. We're able now to determine that. Can we give up to 1 billion francs? We'll give now is based on your ability to pay back from your salary from the finance. And then with these small economic operators, the buy and sell, that we may call them in common balance. When we come to your site, we evaluate your business premises. We see how we conduct a kind of a due diligence, but it may not be so serious. We see whether you can pay. We establish your repayment capacity. If you can repay the loan, okay, we will now come to you. Say, okay, now you open an account with us now. Then from there now we can move. We'll give you a loan. Then now you tell us how you pay the money gradually. So it is very simple. Azire is flexible, and as I'm talking, the televiewers out there that are seeing those who have benefited civil servants, they will lend credence to the fact that AziCCUL is flexible. AziCCUL is there for the public. So
is there for the public? You are Assistant General Manager.
Yes, sir.
Azire is operating in Cameroon, and many members are in Boya. They may want to engage in transacting businesses with you. In which other towns can they easily relate with to say that I'm engaging in Boya, but I can call somebody in this or that town to collect money or do some other transactions?
Yes, AziCCUL has branches across the national territory of Cameroon.
Okay.
We have a branch in Baboussam, so many branches in Bamenda. We have branches in Yaoundé, Obili, Etudi. In Douala, we have a branch at Besenge village and Bonaberi, and we are soon to open another branch at Mai Central and even in Boya. So we have about 13 branches. So we do interconnectivity in the sense that once you pay money in one branch, you can collect the money instantly at the other branch.
Okay.
We are interconnected. Yes.
Okay. We are also living in a digital age. Yes. How advanced are you in this process? That is how electronic money transactions.
Yes, you know, it's a project in perspective, in view.
Okay.
The president conceived this idea. Not long from now, we have imbibed a new software. Very soon, we are going now to go digital, so that you can pay money and withdraw money from your account without, at the comfort of a bed, without coming to the credit union.
Okay.
Yes, we are working towards that.
You just need to validate, like these other guys are doing.
Yes.
Okay.
You can request money from your account to your phone. And then now you withdraw it, and you can use money from your phone to your account. So we are working towards that. Before the end of this year, that would have been actualized.
Madam, and NZELIO, you are opening your doors in Boya tomorrow. What are those key products that you are serving the public?
Thank you, Mr. Kum. Tomorrow is the D date for the Boya branch. So we have several products that the population of Boya are going to enjoy for us. For example, we have the individual savings account, the minor account for even the babies.
Okay.
We have group account for all these Anjange houses. You know, during December, you always heard of Njange houses that have run away with people money. So we have group account that all the Njange houses, enterprises, company, even institution can come and open their accounts. We have the payment of the salary. My AGM have just talked about. We also pay electricity bill. We have internal money transfer. That is, a member of AziCCUL branch can send money from Boya branch and the beneficiary pick the money at any branch of AziCCUL. Then we have the daily savings that we have collectors who move around on daily basis and collect money from petty traders, hawkers, business, buy and seller, and all the rest. We also treat standing orders.
Standing orders, what is that?
Standing orders is a sense that a member can contract a loan with us and maybe the salary is passing with a different bank. The person can place a standing order, whereas they will be treating the repayment of the loan through that bank.
Yes, but it's also often difficult for groups or associations to open accounts with you guys because you need legalization but you have talked about group accounts. How does it work? That there is a group in Njange that is operating, that is not legalized, but they want to open an account with AziCCUL. How does it go?
We often know that all groups that comes together have elected officials. It means that the group members have elected 3 or 4 persons to run that group. We have the president, the treasurer, the secretary. During the meeting, they always have a minute that they take, that they put down. So when a group comes to us that they want to open an account, if it's not registered legally, we consider their minute. They came together, they had an agreement to open an account with us. There's an application that they write, a copy of that minute, indicating the signatory to that account. And we proceed to the opening of the account.
That's all?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If I may proceed, yes, you know, there are 2 types of groups. There are formal groups and there are informal groups.
Okay.
The formal groups, they are legal entities. So for a legal entity to open an account with a credit union, we need your bylaws or your articles of association to justify that you are a group. But if it's an informal group like in Njange House, a common Njange House in the quarter,
a social group
of friends. Yes. So we don't need we don't need your bylaws, we don't need your articles of association. We just need now you write a letter. You write now an application to open an account with us, and then the letter will be countersigned by 3 signatories to the account. So there are the formal groups and informal groups. Yes.
Okay. How expensive is it to open an account with Cooperative or credit union rather?
Yes. The shares with the credit union. You know, before you belong to the credit union, you must have shares to show that you're a member.
Okay.
The shares give you the voting right. You can be elected into the office, you can vote, and you can be voted. So the share is 100,000 francs. But since we know that at times it's difficult for members to pay the money upfront, what we do is that we may say, okay, the shares is divided into 20%, so that you can pay the first 20,000 francs. Then with time now you upgrade until you attain 100,000 francs before you are a full-fledged member of Azire Credit Union. So the take-home message is that as we are opening the account, as we are launching the Boya branch tomorrow, we are calling on members to come and partner with us, because Azire is for a win-win. Azire is a gateway to progress. Those who have shares up to 1,000 francs, they are welcome. Those who have shares of just even 20,000 francs, they are welcome. But within 1 month now, we expect that it's kind of a how do you call it?
A bonanza.
A bonanza. Yes, or a promotion. Yes, those who can open within 1 month, okay, we can exceptionally consider 20,000 francs to open the account. But after 1 month now, normally you will follow the normal procedure.
Okay, Mr. Abek Edwin. Tepi, which other information do you have for the people of Boya who are watching us now, and to say that this branch even is operating in Boya, but it serves the municipality, which means that those watching us from mile 16 in even in Mutengene, they could come up, even Limbe, and the entire Faku division is concerned here.
Yes, yes, Mr. Lord, we're going to Boya. I have 3 things to tell the Boya population and its environs, those in Limbe, Tiko, Mutengene, that AziCCUL is a community-based cooperative credit union.
Okay.
That's the difference. It's a community-based financial institution. It's not any ordinary financial institution that you see around. Why is it different? It's a community-based. We are here to bring people together. Nobody owns AziCCUL. In tandem with what my colleague and my boss have said there, AziCCUL, when you are open an account with AziCCUL, once you own an account, you become a member. We don't call customers. We say member. Members means you belong to a family. You become a shareholder of AziCCUL. You have a right to all decisions, to decision making. You have a right to give your opinion. You are listening to, and everything you say, every opinion you have come together to build the family. That's the first thing. So we're a community-based financial institution which with mission to alleviate poverty. That is our prime mission. To come together, we have come together, bringing people together to fight for a common goal, alleviating poverty. The second thing I want the Boya population to understand is that we are coming into Boya, and AziCCUL shares 2 issues, 2 main we're in common with the population of Boya with 2 aspects. 1, hospitality. They say Boya is a town of legendary hospitality. If you come to AziCCUL, you will see what it means to become to a family. We are hospitable. We treat our family members as ourselves. That's the hospitality. The second aspect which we share in common with the population of Boya is that AziCCUL is a cosmopolitan credit union. What do I mean? Everybody is not like a financial institution or other credit unions that you have that you can tap them with villages. You have them, but AziCCUL, when you are in AziCCUL, we are in a family, and every person, every village is involved in AziCCUL. You know, we have credit unions that you can easily tap to villages. This one, but AziCCUL is a cosmopolitan credit union which brings together everybody from the north, south, east, west, anywhere in the country we are. You come to AziCCUL, you see people from various villages and the rest. The third aspect I was going to say is that AziCCUL has reliability. We have the liquidity. We are in Boya to bring forth ideas. We are in Boya to bring people, to bring dreams, ideas, to make ideas, bring ideas into reality.
Okay.
You have the Silicon Valley, you have a lot of youths in Boya who have great ideas. You have the government giving the youths internet. You have free internet to use. Bring all those ideas to AziCCUL. We are going to help you finance those assets and make your dreams a reality.
Okay.
We are having the issue of agriculture we are just talking about. I just get it. They are talking about Africa is having a problem. AziCCUL has the finances to take you to those places. Bring the projects to AziCCUL. Bring the farms. We will sponsor the groups. We are talking about groups. Agricultural groups. Come to AziCCUL. Southwest is very fertile. The soil is fertile. Come to AziCCUL. We'll bring those dreams to reality.
Bring those dreams to
reality.
Greetings, Mr. Liu. I have this question for you as a call guest. Do they have a way that the diaspora can open an account online in their institution? Thanks. Dr. Wesley Angoni is writing from the United States of America.
Yes. Oh, yes, doctor. It is very possible for you to be there in the United States or any part of the world at the comfort of your bed and you open an account with the credit union. We have designed a form. A template. You just fill and you send it to any of the branches of your choice. So it suffices for you now to contact any branch of your choice. The templates are in all the branches. They'll send it to you. You fill the form. You authorize whoever you're authorizing. The person will come, the account will open, and then whenever you come to Cameroon, you sign the document. So it's possible. You don't need to move to diaspora to come and open an account here. You need to sit right there and you open an account through authorization.
Okay. Dr. Richard, who was participating from Kenya, he has this question for you guys. I don't know who takes it. He says, how can AziCCUL support youth to start their business given that they might not have collateral?
Yeah, it is possible. Like I said, we give microloans. When we talk about youth, we can, you see, it's a matter of step by step. As a youth without a collateral, we don't expect you now to walk without creeping. When you open an account with Azire Credit Union, we'll tell you that this is how we do it now. We'll see what they are doing, we'll prospect you, we assess your reliability and your creditworthiness, no matter how small it may be. So we will give you a loan, about say 500,000 francs of up to 1 million francs. We'll see how you pay, and then gradually now you move up. And I want to tell you that so many people or so many members, they have started through this method of starting gradually, and today they are big baobabs in this country. That is a fact. As I'm saying, the televiewers they can lend credence what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Leo. In tandem with what my AGM is saying, we have people who have grown from grass to grace. And just what they're saying,
big businesses,
and we have a lot. This product of the diaspora came in place because we have a lot. I call AziCCUL. AziCCUL is 50 years old. AziCCUL is not just coming to Buea because it's a baby credit union. AziCCUL is 50 years old, and we are coming to Buea now. It's not because I will see here we are late. People may think we are late. No, it's because of reliability. Our mantras of success in AziCCUL is reliability, speed, and unity. And therefore, before somebody becomes reliable, it means that person needs time. It takes time for you to be recognized as a reliable somebody. So we are reliable, and that's what we say. If AziCCUL tells you you are picking up money tomorrow, be sure you're picking up the money.
That's the question I was going to ask the AGM about the stability, the guarantee that you are giving, because we know many persons are not too sure. They want to be double, triple sure because of what we are living today.
Yes, Mr. Liu, I will tell you that as a credit union, it's 53 years old. And for these 53 years, we've never had a liquidity crisis, which means that we are at any point in time, we can meet the needs for our members, cash withdrawal, without much ado. We don't even accept term deposit to boost up our equity or liquidity. We are very, very liquid. So any member who has ever been, or any member of Azire Credit Union who can prove me otherwise can call right now and say that no, AGM, what I say is not true. I went there on this day to withdraw money. They told me that money is not there. In Azire Credit Union, it is far-fetched.
Okay.
Yes.
Good evening to you all in the studio. I wish to ask the benefits of the share according to amounts invested by shareholders. Terence is writing from Mutengene. Terence wants to be sure. Terence is a Thomas.
Yes, Terence. You see, Terence, good evening, sir. You see, the law says that before we operate as a credit union, we should have our own capital. So the share is the capital of the union. And this share is repayable to you the day you are closing your account. So it gives you the voting right. You cannot belong to a credit union where you don't have shares. So the shares make you a member. So it is very, very important for every member of the credit union to have shares. So it makes you a member. It gives you the voting right. You can vote and you can be voted. But without the shares, you cannot be voted. You cannot vote.
Can you be given credit without having shares? It's impossible.
No, it's impossible. You must have
that
shares.
Is what you have to, because this one is writing. This guy is also writing from Spain. It's Amadou writing from Spain. He says I wish to ask the delegates from the credit union how they sponsor youth initiatives without collateral. But even if you have to sponsor a youth initiative, they must first have shares.
That's what, Mr. Leo, the shares that we were talking about, the benefits, you can't belong. I've said AziCCUL is a family. We operate as a family. We are not ordinary financial institutions as you see out there where some shareholders come together, put money together to finance projects. No, AziCCUL is a family, which means to belong to that family, you need shares. It's those shares that qualify you to become a member of this family. So if you want, you cannot belong to a family without, to a business without having shares. So those shares make you a member of the AziCCUL family. So that's the first benefit, you benefit. Number two aspect, you have interest. Once you start doing business with us, at the end of the year, the family shares something which is called interest, and everybody benefits from it.
Okay, everybody benefits from it. I hear the president and the general manager of AziCCUL will soon be here. I hope they meet us before it's time for us to leave. Dr. Richard says the second question: how can they partner with government to deliver resources to grassroots communities? Do you how do you partner with the government to deliver resources, or you guys are self-sufficient? You have enough capital to deliver?
Well, that question is a little bit ambiguous. Okay. When you say talk of a partner with the government to deliver goods, it's a little bit ambiguous. It's not very clear. What yes, we don't rely on government for funding. The funds of the credit union, we mobilize it from the members and we give it to members as loans. Okay. So we don't depend so much on the government for funding.
Okay.
Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. AziCCUL is really a place to be. At AziCCUL, bushfallers can open their accounts at the comfort of their bed. Whenever a transaction is effected in your account, an SMS notification is sent to you. With AziCCUL money, no be problems. Nazi is writing from New Bell in Bamenda. New Bell in Bamenda. I would really love to see this New Bell, because I know New Bell is in Douala now. I don't know how New Bell is operating in Bamenda. Good evening to you all in the studio. I wish to ask how many percent do members benefit as yearly interest on their money saved? Michelle is writing from Bamenda.
Yes, Mr. Leo, you see, I want to say something.
Okay.
Yes, it is the cooperative law does not tell you that you will pay this amount of interest at the end of the year. It says that at the end of the year, how much you have realized as income, then you can determine how much you pay, and the members will approve it. But many times I see some credit union, they say, I'll pay 6%, I'll pay, it's a fallacy, it's not true. Yes, but the truth is that we have always paid 4% and between 4 to 5%. But I cannot say like as the Jewish prophet that will pay 5%. It's a function of the business that we do, all of us as members of the credit union. But many times we hardly pay below 4% and upward. But to say that we'll pay this, as you see, we are not, they are not profit holders. Where we say that we'll pay this amount, then the rest now, where do we keep it? So when by the time now we take care of all our expenditures, the rest go back to members as interest on the savings. So it's a fallacy to say that I will pay 10% at the end of the year. I think it's not correct.
Yes, okay. Mr. Leo, to add to what my AGM has said concerning the issue of interest, I want the population to understand that we are a family. I keep saying it. When people come together, like your Njangi group, when you come together, you don't determine how much you make at the end of the year. It's when you make the profits that you decide which percentage to share. And that is how AziCCUL also functions. You people come together, at the end of the year, what is realized is shared to all family members in a percentage. So the members have a voice. And that's why I say at AziCCUL, every voice counts. You who have an account, you are a member and you're a shareholder, so you have a voice.
So you can only give a profit depending on how much is made at the end of the year.
That is what the law says.
Yes, because if you were to say I'll give you 10% and then you cannot make up to 10% profit that year, yes. What happens? You are indebted to this guy. Okay.
You see, to cue to what I'm saying, you see, that there is a misunderstanding. You see, in some companies they have preferred shareholders and ordinary shareholders. Now for the preferred shareholders, they say I'll pay 10%. If at the end of the year they have 20%, they'll pay at 10%. But if they don't have the 10%, they go and borrow and come and pay to you. So the credit union is kind of, and they are kind of ordinary shareholders what they receive or what they pay to members at the end of the year is a function of the business results they have achieved.
Okay.
But many times it will hardly go below 4%.
Good evening, yes. Sir. Congratulations to AziCCUL as they open doors in Boya tomorrow, Saturday, June the 4th, 2022. As an old member of the union, and I encourage the Boya population to join the winning and democratic group and benefit from an open financial institution where each member's opinion counts. Ndika Fred, writing from Nkwen in Bamenda. I'm really happy to know that many persons are watching from Bamenda, that there is light out there in the Northwest regional capital. Dr. Nick, you are still here with us.
Yes.
I don't know. Do you know about Azire?
Yes, I come back. In fact, I was in the set. I was sitting by and listening, and I come back to kind of like lend credence to what they are saying, because I've been in the Azire Credit Union since from 1995,
okay.
And I saw the Azire Credit Union, the old motor park in Bamenda, where you have the Congress Hall. That's where they were.
Okay. Yes, I know the building.
Yes, and then there was a Parfumbat of blessed memory. Now, I mean, I used to be in his house and eat with his children and so on. So I have seen the Azire Credit Union grow. And just to say again that what you call St. Louis Clinic today and the St. Louis University is the product. If somebody asked you to name one big product from the Azire Credit Union, the St. Louis Clinic in Bamenda that was built at Mile 3, that money was taken from the Azire Credit Union, and it's late Pa Momolo who gave the money, and we built that clinic. And they are the ones who have sponsored St. Louis in Douala, and they will continue to sponsor. We're going to build hospitals, we're going to build more universities, and all of that money is coming from the Azire Credit Union. So I'm here to say Azire Credit Union is the place to be. And Azire Credit Union, I'm so glad with your new products where you have now come down to the small people and you're giving them this 1 million, this 3 million without collaterals. That is going to go a lot to boost those youths. And those 2 million jobs that we've been talking about, they are going to come through the Azire Credit Union. If you have any question, ask me, and together we are going to provide the money for the youth, the jobs for the youth, and the opportunities for the youth. Thank you once more, Azire Credit Union.
Good evening, Mr. Liu and the AziCCUL family. My question is, how much is the Solidarity Fund? Thanks. I am Ako Ali, writing from Edea. There is a Solidarity Fund?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, okay. You see, the Solidarity Fund is an amount that we keep now in case of any future contingency that we will meet. But members, in most credit unions, members are obliged to pay. In most credit unions, members are obliged to pay. But what is unique about Azire is that we don't ask members to pay. At the end of the year, from the surpluses that we make now, we take part of the surplus and we provision for Solidarity Fund. We create it, but we don't charge it against the members.
Okay.
To pay.
Gideon Vuma, writing from Amanda, says, can one belong to more than one credit union? If yes or no, is there any database in Cameroon that can track members belonging to many credit unions?
Yes, Mr. Louis, there is no harm in belonging in more than one credit union.
Okay.
It was in the, you see, initially, we were with the Camco network, so we break. In the days of Camco, you could not belong to two credit unions. But now, there's there's Camco, there's GoCam, there's Rainbow. You can belong, as a member, you can belong to two credit unions, but you cannot belong to two bots of two different credit unions. You can belong to two. Nothing stops you.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Ambassador in Limbe. How much for student account?
Well, a student is a student. A student is a member. Whether a student or a child, an account holder is an account holder.
Okay.
Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. It's me, Luma from Boya. Tell AziCCUL that I'm in, but where in Boya would the launching take place?
I want to greet Mr. Luma. Mr. Luma is a very good fellow of mine at GC, but as the credit union, the launching, the office is located at UB Junction, just adjacent NZELIO.
Former Trustec, eh?
Former Trustec building. That's where we are. Yes, just adjacent NZELIO. That's the office of AziCCUL. And the program for tomorrow will be like this: from 6 a.m. in the morning, there'll be a marathon race from UB Junction right up to Bongo Square, Clark's Quarter, Memox, and then you come back to my 17. Then in between there will be a motor caravan to create awareness, because members will not know that Azire is in Boya. So one now to educate them, because they've been crying for, they've been craving for AziCCUL to be in Boya. So we want to do this marathon race, we want to do this caravan in order to inform them that finally we have come. And it's thanks to our dynamic leadership, Barrister Devande Momodu, the board chairman.
Okay. Is AziCCUL more open to human resources, or they are going digital like other banks, thus reducing job opportunities? Howard Chair is writing from Boya. Yes, they have to also embrace, they have to go digital. Yes, they have to go digital. Greetings to all in the studios. Yeah, because almost everybody wants to be served from the comfort of their beds. Yes. You want to be in the kitchen, and then somebody calls you from Bamenda or from Yaoundé, and you say, okay, just wait. You access and you say, okay, go catch your money. So there's no issue with that. Greetings to all in the studio. Please, I wish to have the details of opening a saving account with AziCCUL. Tebong is writing from Bamenda.
Yes, to open a savings account with AziCCUL, all we need the photocopy of your ID card, 2 passport photo, and a minimum of 30,600, and you're good to go.
Okay, I hope the information is gone through. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Question to AziCCUL members: is the interest paid to members the same irrespective of their shares? Hillary from Yaoundé. No, can be now.
It is paid. It is paid. We pay interest. I said that we pay interest.
Are they same? Are they same rate?
No. You see, you see, since the shares is fixed at a certain level. So what we do is that we calculate the interest on the shares and the interest on the savings. We accumulate the two and we credit it under the savings account.
Okay. Yeah, I've gotten a message. Not the person who wrote from America says a follow-up question. We are living in the age of cyberspace advancement. To your guest, do they not think that it would be better for them to create a website where the diaspora can directly complete these forms online and deposit funds directly into their accounts? Thanks. I'm sure it exists there. Just get to them. I'm sure that exists already. Good evening, Mr. Leo. This is Awah from Boya. I need to know from the AGM about the interest on your savings first, because Intericon Credit Union is standardized. Okay. Maybe some persons would want to get direct information from you. After the program, can you just write to me? I will send your questions, I'll direct your questions to the AGM or the marketers to get to you. New Bell is the quarter up at Tuakom and near PSS Mancon. Okay, I get it. Donald is writing from Amanda. Good evening to you. Donald, thank you for that. Dr. Richard says he is okay. The question is, have they engaged government to work with them to deliver development to the people? For example, what if government gives them 50 billion to support youth to drive transformational solutions for development? How would they execute that? We are working with credit unions in Uganda, and they have become conduits of delivering financial support to communities tied to actions that are economically empowering. This model is one in which AziCCUL should adopt. I don't know whether you get what he's talking about.
I did. You see,
I do. I get what he's saying. AziCCUL has, as a product, we finance agricultural projects.
Okay.
That's what we're saying. The project he's talking about, if government comes in, I think we'll study what the government is bringing in to help the population. We're a community-driven financial institution. We are here to help everybody that belongs to AziCCUL. We are here to promote Cameroonians. We are here to alleviate poverty, to send away poverty. So we are interested in every project that comes our way, and we look at it and we see that it is worthwhile, that is going to improve the lives of our members. We're going to go along with it.
Okay, you're going to go with it. Any special promotion at the launching figure, Bamenda? In Bamenda, good evening to you. You said that already. There's going to be promotion.
Yes, the promotion. We have produced T-shirts, caps, and pens to give to the early birds that will come for account opening. So the early birds, they'll benefit from T-shirts.
Yes, but within 1 month they can start with 20,000 francs.
Yes, with 20,000 francs within 1 month. Yeah, then shares. Yes, shares. Then after 1 month now we'll go back. We'll follow the normal procedure for account opening.
Okay. Good evening. Thanks for always standing on the truth and saying the truth. I'm enjoying the program. My question is the percentage rate paid out by AziCCUL, and what are they doing to serve as a corporate union? That has been answered already now.
Yes.
Okay. Many persons are asking the question, sir.
It's a big union.
Matan from Bomenda says, good evening. How can an account be opened for CIG groups?
We answered that.
Yes, I think we already answered that.
CIG
yes,
groups
common initiative groups.
They fall within
because you group accounts.
Group accounts.
Yes, they fall within group accounts.
Yes, so I talked of formal groups and informal groups. So a CIG is a formal group.
It's a formal group.
We need the articles of association, and then beside that we need an application to open an account.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
But maybe they are just joining late. Can you just remind them about what it takes to open the account?
To open the account. To open an account for CIGs or group, there are other groups. We need the minutes of the minutes of the meeting you held to come to the consensus to open an account with Azire Credit Union. We will need your registration documents, and then we will need 3 persons that will be designated for as signatories.
Okay.
With a handwritten application.
I hope that question is clear. Now, tomorrow, can we have the program of tomorrow? Can you tell the people of Boya?
Yes. Tomorrow in the morning, as from 6 o'clock, the athletes, because there'll be a marathon, as I said earlier, from UB Junction right up to Bongo Square and Clark's Quarter, Mimos, and then come back to my 17. And then in between now there'll be a caravan that will go around to vulgarize, to inform the Boya denizens that AziCCUL has come, that your craving for AziCCUL has been answered. So then by 10 o'clock now there will be the official launching of the branch. That's to launch. It means that we expect people to come open account, and then now there will be some small things.
Okay, good. That is perfect. He should share their emails and WhatsApp numbers so ideas for partnerships to drive youth opportunities can be explored to support Cameroon youth. This is Dr. Richard Munang from Kenya. Sure, Doctor, I'll share with you so that you engage them. But if a big project comes, you have to remember that it came through my media primer.
Yes, I will.
If I hear that Dr. Richard has brought some project from out there and that you people are implementing in Cameroon.
Yes, no, we support big project. You see,
that is not my problem. I'm saying that if that project finally comes, remember that.
The followers will be here.
Okay.
At least you leave the booty. At least we will share the booty. Yes.
Okay. I want you people to listen to what people are saying. Sure. Good evening to you in the studio, and congratulations to AziCCUL. I wish to ask if one has a house without papers and wants to take a loan. Callistus from Yaoundé.
You see, Awah is clear. Awah is very clear. To take a house without a collateral, I mean without a land certificate, it's like you are taking nothing. Because you cannot act on that document without, in court. It can be challenged. So it is better, the loan that we give for civil servants, 5 million francs or to petty traders, is better than accepting to take a house without a land.
What is the difference of having a savings account and a share in AziCCUL?
The difference of having a shares and a savings account, once you own an account with AziCCUL, all the members of AziCCUL are entitled to have a share account. That is what my colleague just called the capital of the business. Then once you have that shares account, you still have the savings account. You have the savings account, the deposit account. It's not left for the member to decide which of the account to be using, either the shares or the savings. But be rest assured that when you're using your savings account, you have greater advantages to apply for a loan in future, because that is where they're going to look at your saving history to evaluate the amount of loan that will be granted to you.
Okay. We struggling to answer to. Yes, Mr. Liu, New Bell is below Atwa Kumbamenda and directly behind PSS Mancon and not another prison. Greetings to all the staff of AziCCUL and my media prime. Thank you very, very much for that clarification. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm a member. Okay. The method of cutting of loan when you already have an agreed source where your loan will be cut off because members have the right to be informed. Is there an issue of the way loans are cut? I don't know what this person is saying.
Yes, Mr. Leo, when you take a loan with Azire Credit Union, either you pay through cash or you pay through standing order or you pay by check.
Okay.
Whichever you feel is convenient for you. Either you give checks for us to be sent to the bank every month, or standing order that the bank will be curtailing and send to us directly, or you come and pay by check directly,
okay,
or by cash directly.
Okay. Now, Azire is in Boya, headquarters of the Southwest region. Are there plans to extend to other parts of the Southwest region? Or we have to first observe the way people react to this new arrival?
Well, Mr. Leo, you see, is the prerogative of the board. We as staff, we cannot decide. Okay. So the board will decide when the time will come. But we see them thinking towards that direction. Yes.
How satisfied the members of AziCCUL have been? Because maybe Dr. Nick is speaking so well of you guys because he has benefited that he's a big fish in it, but I'm talking about the common person in the...
Very true.
Yes.
Mr. Leo, I will tell you, members who come to AziCCUL are very satisfied. I said earlier that we are a family. And one of the things you see in AziCCUL is that we have a great deal of hospitality. We are very hospitable. We listen to our members, we talk to them politely, we counsel them. Those are also things we do that are not related to finance. We counsel our members. And I will tell you that if you see, we have, as I said, AziCCUL is 50 years and we have a lot of children. AziCCUL has a lot of children in the diaspora. That's what that product came about. Why? Because most of them went out there through AziCCUL. Once they got the opportunities, their mothers or parents come to AziCCUL, everything was done. That's one of the things. And AziCCUL entertain every person, every class of person in the society. Truck pushers, bayam selam, businessmen, big businesses. We deal with everybody in the society. So people, our members, those who come to AziCCUL are very satisfied.
Yes, but you know, businesses in Cameroon particularly, when you want somebody to join, you speak so well. You are very kind to everybody. It's like when you go to partner that you are going to Yaoundé. The guys at the park are so nice. Once you get into the vehicle, they become so hostile and arrogant, especially financial institutions. You come to collect your money, they speak to you as if you are coming to beg. You are disturbing.
Yeah, you see, Mr. Leo, you see, in Azire Credit Union, the customer or the member is the king.
That's what everybody says.
And the member is the king. But I will tell you that any staff in Azire Credit Union that maybe has insulted a member or has demonstrated lack of professionalism to a member, that staff is reprimanded very seriously. Yes.
I don't know, how true is this? I may do some surprise visit. I'll come and pretend as if something and to see how you guys are going to...
Yeah, it's right. It's right. You can do a surprise. Because with us...
You're free, Mr. Liu.
Yeah, because talking, you guys say, oh, we are the best. We are like Boya, city of legendary hospitality. If you come there, we are very hospitable, and at times the thing is not okay. I will get to them. Those of AziCCUL Credit Union. Okay. Thank you. Many persons are saying that they will get to you from across the globe. Good evening. AziCCUL acts as wants to travel to Europe through travel agency. Dixon is writing from Limbe. I am a technician in Douala. If I open an account, will it be possible for AziCCUL to borrow me money to do my business? I have a church in Douala. Is it possible to open a church account and the procedures needed, please? I don't know whether you got this. This one says he has a church in Douala. Is it possible for him to open a church account?
It's possible. It's possible. You go to any of our branches in Douala, you'll be able to open the account for the church. We have a branch in Bonaberry. We have a branch in Fayrouche.
Okay. And Mr. Leo, to add more flesh to that, I'll tell you that the PCC, where the moderator is the moderator of the PCC, he can lend credit to the fact that most of the accounts of the PCC, they are with Azire Credit Union.
Okay.
And we have never failed them for 1 second.
Okay. Good evening. In the panel, AziCCUL is AziCCUL in Mutengene. Not yet. It is starting in Boya tomorrow. Those in Mutengene could be served from Boya, as well as those in Muya and across Fako Division. Good evening. Amgu Awandam from Mutengene. Can someone who has an account in Douala be changed to Boya? Why do you have to change the account? Is it the same account now?
No, you see, as I said initially, we have gone we have gone in interconnectivity. So your account with Kumba can be operated in Boya. It can be operated in Yaoundé. Wherever you find yourself, use that very account to operate, to do withdrawal or payments. And it's instant.
Okay. Yes. Dahlia is writing from Bomenda. Good evening. I'm a member. Okay. Dahlia, good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Please clear my doubt. Can AziCCUL act as an I don't know what someone wants to travel to Europe through a travel agency? Dixon from Limbe. I don't know. How can AziCCUL help to work for somebody who wants to travel to Europe? I don't know.
The question is a little bit ambiguous.
Okay. This one says, how can I create an account for our students' union? So what is the procedure? Mr. Peter Forza Alemji writing. Mr. Peter, can you just get to me? I will share their numbers with you after the program they want to create. This one says, I need an answer. Is it possible to open a church account? They say it's possible. Just get to them. After this, you are going to have the church account open. Hello, Mr. Leo. Please, I wish to know their interest rate for loans above savings. Thanks. Tebong is writing from Omenda.
Yes, Mr. Tebong, to obtain a loan above your savings, the interest rate is 1.5%.
Okay.
Yes.
I hope you are clear. Please. Everybody wants to ask a question. We are already against time, 15 minutes after normal time for today. Let me just, AziCCUL location in Boya. Someone is asking.
Yes, we are located at UB Junction, just adjacent Nextel building.
Former Trustec building.
Former Trustec building.
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Leo. This is Mr. Allen from Boya. I want to ask that representative of AziCCUL that if someone opens an account to AziCCUL and she has relative abroad, can they send money directly to that person's account? Is it possible, or they will need to create an account?
Well, for the meantime, my president is working towards digital banking, where it is possible for somebody to be abroad and save money directly. Okay. So it's a project in perspective.
Okay. Good evening. Please, you talk of interest paid on savings and shares. What is the difference between savings and shares? Emmanuel Yongabi is writing from Bomenda. I'm sure the marketing person spoke about that already. I wish to ask again whether with creation of accounts by people in the diaspora, can the forms not be scanned and signed by the beneficiary, because you said the person will come back and sign? Yes.
No, I said we have a template. There's a template that we have designed, so that if you are in the diaspora and then you want somebody at home to open an account for you, just tell whoever is that person to go to any of the branch. They'll give you the template. It's already designed. You just fill your name. This person based in this country. I authorize this person to open an account on my behalf. The template is there already, just to fill your name.
Okay.
And send to us.
I own an account with AziCCUL since 2011 precisely. AziCCUL Obili. Mr. Leonard, ask them why interests are always calculated late. I want to know my interest for 2021. Miranda is writing from Yaoundé. Are they done late?
No, you see, the law says that our financial year runs from January to December. And then after December now, in the new year now, we hold our AGM. And the law says that the members are supposed to approve of the interest that we pay to them.
Okay.
Yes, because
so you cannot do it without the AGM.
Yes, but in the case of Azire, there is an exception that if you can pay up to a certain percentage now, we pay and come and report.
Okay.
If we're unable to pay now, we come to them for approval.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Please, is there Islamic banking system with a relationship? This is Musa writing from Boya. I don't know. Huh? Is there? Okay, please. The AGM has been talking since, and the marketing guys. We have just been joined by Barrister Mumulu Divine, who is the president of AziCCUL. We're glad to have you for the first time in our studios.
Thank you so much.
Okay. You are also, we are also in the company of Mr. Lembe Pius, the general manager. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. AziCCUL says they want to open their doors in Boya. It's going to happen tomorrow. You are going to answer the worry of somebody who just asked a question.
Yes, I think I'm sorry that we are jumping into the studio for the first time at this hour, but I've just been anxious with some of the questions they've been asking. Let me start with the last one. Somebody was talking about Islamic banking. Okay. That's a product we actually are running. That's a product we are actually running in Azire Credit Union. Now, you know, with Islamic banking, we understand that the Islamic culture may not accept interest. So it depends on you as an individual. What exactly you want, but then we have that product and service.
Okay,
running.
so it's available.
So it's inclusive.
It's inclusive. Good evening to you. I am in Kribi. How can someone manage to open an account in AziCCUL? Someone who is in Kribi where the credit union does not exist may have to do it the way the diaspora do. You download a form, or they'll have to move to Douala to open an account. Mr. June.
I think, thank you, Mr. Leo. It will be better for that person to move to Douala, because I have 3 branches in Douala. Then you make a choice on which branch you would like to open the account there. But if he's not able to come to Douala, and think who can do as it is done for those who are in diaspora, it can be done.
Okay, so you can get to them, and please, if you need their numbers after the program, get to me.
But let me add something, Mr. Leo. You know, the AGM was talking just about a template. I want to say that we live in a global village. So whether you are in America, wherever in the world, it's simple. You need the form, we scan it to you. You fill it. All we need is to properly identify you by virtue of probably your passport, your green card, etc., etc. You sign 3 times and sign on that form, and you forward to us. Now you can even with the original. We post the original to you by mail, and then you sign and send it. So you must not come back to the office to actually come just to sign. But all relevant papers to you, once we are able to identify you properly.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Please, it's Pauline from Bokwango. Please ask AziCCUL that is us in Bokwango, how will we be saving? But Bokwango, you moved down to Moliko now?
Yeah, Moliko.
Yes. Yeah, Bokwango is up there in yes, the person in Bokwango, you just moved down. But the marketing officer said that you also run what they call Akawuna. You send people to collect.
Daily saving.
Daily saving. So how does it operate? They move around town, or you have to come to the office?
No, there are agents who move around to those potential members, or members who are not able to come to the office, and they collect the funds from them.
Okay.
They deposit on their behalf in the office.
Yes. So if you are in Bokwango and you think that you may not have time to be going down to Moliko to save, you can get just get to the office in Moliko, former Trustech building, and then you can notify them, tell them where they are, and then if there is a daily savings collector, she can be passing around to collect for you and save. Okay, Pauline, make an effort to go to Moliko. Moliko is not far from Bokwango. I was in Bokwango today, and within how many minutes I was in Moliko. Mbebe Emmanuel from Yaoundé, is the promotion for account opening only for those in Boya? Yes, surely, because it's the opening of the branch in Boya. Good evening, sir. Can 10,000 francs used to create an account? No.
Close to 20,600.
Okay. So at least you must come with at least 20,600. That is what the general manager is telling me here. Good evening, Mr. Liu. It's Mr. Ali. If you get a loan above saving, how long do you have to start paying the loans? Do you start same month or same month ahead possible? I'm writing from University of Boya. Just take note. Does AziCCUL act as a payment escrow between two parties? What is the escrow? I don't know what.
An escrow is kind of a trust kind of form where people don't trust themselves.
Okay.
And so you can deposit money in such an account just to ease business transactions where the parties don't trust themselves. So Azire can do that. All it's simply an agreement where the parties come to an agreement, and when such a transaction materializes, then Azire has that order to release the money.
Okay. What is the interest rate for a loan of 500,000 francs to a youth who has no collateral, and what is a payment plan that such a youth can be given that many people have lost trust on others to run their initiatives back home? Do you, as AziCCUL, have an initiative that can be leveraged to drive initiatives like housing constructions?
Of course, our bylaws talk about real estate loans. Our loan policy makes provision for real estate loans, and so all what our loans are flexible. So all we need to do is to fulfill the basic conditions for you to get a loan, and out there you go.
Okay, please, I'm Mr. Atem from Mile 15 Boya. I'm interested. Can I have the new AziCCUL branch number in Boya? Please just go to Moliko former Trustec building before the University of Boya Junction. If you are coming from this from the Mile 17 end, but if you are coming from the Moliko Stadium end, it is after University of Boya Junction. I'm sure 200 meters from the University of Boya Junction. On your left, former Trustec building. We are very, very grateful, Barrister, President, for coming. Certainly, you have one last word for the population of Boya.
Well, I want to first of all thank you for having us in your studio, and I want to encourage everyone in Boya. You realize the way Azire Credit Union is coming into Boya. We are coming as a mother of every credit union, and the trust we have already built in the system. And therefore, I want to encourage everyone that we are not coming to joke. We are coming for real business with the people of Boya.
Okay, Barrister, good evening, Mr. Liu. Can I save tomorrow? I'm very anxious to save tomorrow. Yes, you can save tomorrow. Mr. GM, one last word to those watching us.
Thank you, Mr. Liu. What I would like the televiewers to follow up is that where we are going to, it's better for them to know where we were. Azire started in 1967, and it was just a few like a discussion group, and with few members. But today we are talking of Azire having 51,000 members and above, having a balance sheet total of over 47 billion, and having a loan portfolio of 20 billion. We have an existing in other towns, and we think that it is time for us to come and also improve the situation in Boya.
Okay.
That is why we are precisely saying that it is better late than never, and that with those other towns that have enjoyed the service of Azire, we want to take those services and also impact it in the life of those living in Boya.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Luis from Douala. How possible is it to give credit to someone without collateral for a young buyer seller? The AGM said that already. He discussed that it is very possible. This question is for NZELIO. I would really love to know more about interest when taking a loan from AziCCUL. Can you just get to me after the program, because we are out of time? Thank you, Mr. GM, for coming.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, and AGM, thank you for coming.
The pleasure is mine, sir. It was wonderful being with in the studio of My Media Prime.
Okay, thank you too for coming.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Leo. It's really a pleasure to be here today.
Miss NZELIO, thank you for coming all the way from, all of you guys are coming from Bamenda. We are happy to receive you, Dr. Nick. You also gave a very great testimony. You say St. Louis University and Clinic are core products of Azire Credit Union. Okay, so we are also glad to you, Dr. Richard, for taking part in today's edition of the program. So many persons have called from across the world in today's edition of the program. We are grateful for your participation. Thank you to the production team. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.